Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another special episode of the Chase Thomas podcast. We call this Cup of Coffee with Coach here on Saturday morning. It feels like fall outside. Hopefully, it's a good day for both Geoff Courtney, head football coach of Farragut High School, and myself, two Tennessee alums here with the game against the Dogs that we'll talk about maybe here at the end. But Geoff, good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, Chase. Doing well. Obviously, could be a little bit better this morning. You know, we had a tough defeat last night with Bradley Central, but all in all, doing pretty well this morning.
Well, and I think it's one of those games where for all the folks reading the box scores this morning, when it's the Knoxville News Sentinel, 5-star preps, wherever they see that box score and they kind of wonder what happened there, but it doesn't tell the whole story because Bradley Central, they capitalized on 2 touchdowns inside the 20 from 2 fumbles, a fumble and an interception in your own territory. I mean, that flipped the game. It made short fields. Your defense did not give up outside of one big chunk play offensively at the very end there. Defense stood strong, and you weren't. It did not tell the full story, especially in the first half.
Yeah, it was a 4-quarter game. I thought the defense played really, really well last night. They held a good offense to less than 275 total yards, and as you mentioned, they had one long run there on a 4th down play where we had kind of everybody up at the line of scrimmage, and the guy found a seam and went about 75 yards on that one play. Kind of broke it open. But yeah, I thought our defense played really, really well. I want to say that we were 7 out of 8 on 3rd down and getting off the field. We held them to like 12 first downs, forced 2 turnovers of our own. But as you mentioned, the difference in the game was offensively, it was hard for us to get a rhythm against a good defense. We turned the ball over ourselves 3 times, twice. 2 of those were inside of our own end zone coming out. So they had a short field to try to capitalize and score. And so made it tough for our defense there to get stops. But, you know, that was the difference in the game. You know, we gave ourselves a chance. You know, we had it to 14-10 and we're driving and got a play down inside the 15 and ended up fumbling. And then that's when they put that drive and that play together to kind of make it 21-10. And then, again, I thought our defense did a good job, stopped them on a short field once again, held them to a field goal. You know, they got it down to 3rd and 1 on the goal. And, you know, defense held them out of the end zone once again. So a lot of things that we can build on, a lot of things that I thought that we did well enough to win a game last night, but it didn't end up in our favor.
Well, and you flipped the script. I mean, your team did not come out down, being down early, a couple scores at home against Bradley Central. Like, you came out in the 3rd quarter was completely Admiral domination. What flipped for you with your team, and how proud of you were you for them bouncing back the way they did?
Yeah, I think that's our kids. You know, our kids are tough. They're mentally tough. They're resilient. You know, they knew we're in a ball game right there, and we knew the objective is, you know, we had to get a stop because we kicked off the second half. We got to get a stop, and offense got to go down and score. And I think that's exactly what we did. Well, maybe we had an exchange of a punt there, but like we got that first stop. We got the ball back, we punted away, and then we got that second stop, and then we went down and made a play and had an explosive play and cut the game to 4 points there, 14-10. You know, so they just do exactly what we asked them to do as coaches. You know, every week has been a grind. You know, we played 4 really good teams. You know, we're going to play another really good team, probably one of the, you know, the best team in our region coming up in Maryville next Friday night. You know, and so we talked to our kids, you know, all these experiences, we've not yet been able to come out on the right side of things yet at 0-4, but all these experiences that we go through are to prepare us for region play, playoff football. We have goals to get in the playoffs, make a run in the playoffs. And those should help us get ready for those types of moments. And so we've been close. You know, we had another close game at home 2 weeks ago with Pal. They made the plays at the end of the game to win it. All right. Same thing last night with Bradley Central. You know, we were in a game in the 4th quarter, had a chance to take a lead there. They caused a turnover and then went down and made the plays to extend the lead again. So, you know, our guys will keep bouncing back, keep being resilient, and we look forward to brighter days ahead.
What did you see from the outside? Talk about the defense. Where do you see it making strides? You and I, when we were talking post game, Jacobs was really good for you guys in this game. He was running hard, 14, and making plays for you guys. Just bouncing outside, tough runner, that sort of thing. What did you see from him, and what did you see from your quarterback? Where there was one, the position where early in the second quarter where you had 3rd and short, and then you have a delay game, then it's third. I think it goes from 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
And that's where the interception happens, because I think he was trying to make a play down the field, make a first down, and throws over the middle field, it gets picked off, and then suddenly you're down 14-0. I mean, those are the little things that I feel like it gets lost in the shuffle, where you're 3rd and short, and I think you were going to find some rhythm there, and then obviously the field flips and your quarterback's trying to make a play because it went from 3rd and 4 and 3rd and long, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those coaching teachable moments that you have to do with a quarterback. He's still young. He's, just in his junior year and made 7 starts last year as a sophomore. And but you're right. But I thought Nathan, our running back, he's a freshman. We're playing some young kids. I thought he ran the ball well. With the situation you're talking about, you're right. We're in a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situation. We're at the line of scrimmage, doing like a little check with me system to see and get a good call in for 3rd down and short. And we just end up taking too much time after the operation of getting the play in. We got 40 seconds on the play clock. I think we got the play in, with less than 20 seconds. We're still plenty of time to get the ball snapped. And, just one of those things, we got to be cognizant of where we are on the time, and get our operations sped up and not get into that 3rd and long situation. Then you're right. He's just trying to make a play like you want any kid playing quarterback, or any kid that you don't want them out there playing scared to make a mistake, So he's just trying to make a play. Credit the kid from Bradley Central. Our guy was kind of open there for a split second, and then their safety kind of jumped in front of our receiver coming from about 5 or 6 yards away from behind there. And so, just one of those coaching moments that we can learn and get better from.
Your kicker, man, he can boot it. I was talking to the AD, and we were talking about it, where it's just like he can. How far have you seen him kick one from? Ryan,
in practice, I mean, he's hit 55.
Yeah.
And in game and with a competitive rush in practice, like he's probably solid, really good from 50. He's a talented kicker. He's going to have opportunities to go play somewhere next year. He's been our kicker now for 3 years. He hit a game winner. Speaking about Maryville, going back over there this Friday night, he hit the game winner 2 years ago when we beat the sophomore. And so he's worked at it. He's worked at it probably more than any kicker we've had. Of course, we've been blessed with some talented place kickers and specialists. But our kids also work at it. Gerald Robinson is our kicking coach and coaches our snappers and holders, and they work year round. January 11th on a Tuesday, they're out there kicking at 4 p.m. And so Ryan's he's just been a great asset. He's been a great development, and he's having a good year. He's kicking the ball off well, deep in the end zone. He's made our 2 or 3 attempts at field goals this year. Last night, I think he hit one from 41, 42. Yeah. It would have been good from 50.
That's why I looked over. I was like, man, I was one of those. I was like, all right, he pretty good. He's pretty good for a high school kicker. Like it's different.
Yep. He's got a good kid, good leg. We got Julian Melendi too. He's our backup kicker. He rolled his ankle, so he's not kicking right now. But Julian, he's a year behind him. Julian can, he's got good pop too, and has been accurate in the preseason. So, we've been blessed, but our specialists also know to work at it. As I said, they do it year round. And so can't say enough about, that has to be a unit, special teams. And that's kind of what we preach every Sunday and every week is, we've got some talented kickers. They can kick and punt and directionally punt. It's like we got to be great on our cover units. We got to be great on our return units to maximize the change of field position, whatever it might be, because we're probably going to outkick everybody that we play, just punter versus punter and kicker versus kicker. So we got to go out there as units and go do our job. So
I think the offensive play of the night for you guys was Corbin to Heatherly, where he scrambles touchdown, and it was over the field, middle of the field, but he makes something out of nothing. It was. When you went back this morning, or watching it, what did you see on that, and how big of a play was it for your guys?
Yeah, we had like a little outbreak route there on third down, I think. They had been playing some softer coverage out on the perimeter at corner. They ended up playing like a trap cover too, so he scrambled out of the pocket a little bit. Aaron, our tight end, did a good job of breaking his route off where he was going outside and went back towards the middle of the field. And there was just nobody really in the middle of the field. The guy that was defending him was kind of in trail position, and so he did a good job hitting him with the ball. And Aaron showed some speed running away from the defense as a big tight end. You know, he ran the last 40 yards basically untouched, running away from the safeties. And I thought too, the guys that are receivers on the backside of the play, they did a good job transitioning and getting a block that actually sprung him for the last 20, 25 yards. So yeah, just a good play. We need more of that. We need to stay on schedule. We need to operate on time, but you know, it doesn't hurt when we have some of those explosive plays where our playmakers step up and get a big play like that.
Where do you think you've seen your offense grow the most from week 1 to week 4 here?
Well, we still got some steps that we got to take. I think more than anything, just our resilience and belief in each other. You know, we're not getting down, you know, when things don't go absolutely right early. You know, every single game, I think we've been down either 13 or 14-0. You know, so we've not started out the game as we should.
Why do you think that is?
Turnovers. You know, we played really good teams early in the year. You know, we played Cooper Newman, and the guy just, you know, he's like a magician. You can't stop what he's doing on third down. So, you know, the first week it was we couldn't convert, and they converted everything. With Powell, we turned the ball over early, and it led to their second score. You know, last week we played a good team. We were in the game, and we kind of mismanaged the second quarter there a little bit, and the quarterback there at Upperman, I mean, he's just a difference maker. Where Cooper Newman can do it from the pocket and with his legs and extend plays and beat you with his arm. The Chafin kid at Upperman is probably the best kid that we've played against at quarterback in probably like 15 years. You know, I think he's going to Georgia State. He's just, for a senior, he's very confident. You know, he made plays with his legs, and it's like he's big enough. He's like Cam Newton. When we were there at the line of scrimmage to stop him, he was like pushing the pile for 4, 5, 6 yards. And then a couple of times, like, we've got him stopped and we got 2 guys on him, and he just turns and like flips the ball outside to a receiver just standing there like behind him as a lateral, and they get, you know, 8, 9 yards. And then, you know, he had the ability to, you know, stretch it down the field too. So it's been a different reason every week, but, you know, we've, you asked about our offense. I think we've just been able, like, we responded last week or last night. You know, we were down 14-0, kicked a field goal, came out the second half, made it 14-10, continued to get stops, had a chance, as I said, to come down and score, had a play inside the 15, inside the 10-yard line, and end up fumbling at the end of the play. So, you know, I just think our growth has been in our just resilience to stick together and try to climb out of that hole.
Yeah, and it's to what you're pointing out. It's like one of those really frustrating things, because I think fans see 0-4, and just, you're so close in a lot of these games. Like you said, like the turnovers early, it's really hard to come back from that in a lot of instances. But I think your team yesterday, I mean, you wish instant replay was in high school football, because I was in the end zone for the fumble where you're driving and it's 14-10, and I mean, that was the game really ultimately. And for me, from my angle, it didn't look like possession to me. And, you know, the NFL in college, we're all just wondering what actually is a catch. It doesn't matter whether you're at the preps level, the college level, the NFL level. No one really knows what a catch is anymore. And you look at it and you're like, I don't know. That was just I mean, it's a bang play. And we've seen a lot of those. I mean, you had West Sevier County last year, right? We're at the goal line. Like, you're just like, oh, I don't know. That was close. That was tight, but you just kind of have to make the play, make the call, best call you see fit. But man, it's really tough in those spots.
It is, and it's tough on the officials.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's a job that we need, and the guys that are out there officiating, they're there because they love the game of football.
Yeah.
And we have some really good officials, and they call the game, as it should most times. And I'm not arguing the call last night. Like you said, it was bang, bang. Of course, I'm over there on the side arguing that, he was down or it was incomplete, whatever. But, they had thrown a beanbag. So one guy had it as a fumble. But at least they got together and talked about it.
Right.
They had a little congregation there. And, I think you could tell that they were asking, did you have a catch and a fumble? Was it incomplete? So, in that situation, we don't have replay.
Yeah.
We don't have all those type of review systems in place. So as a coach, all you can ask for is, that they're going to get together and try to talk about it and get everybody's opinion and get the call right. So it's just one of those deals probably where a majority wins in that instance. And, they usually take the guy that's got the best vantage point, best perspective where the play is at. And so, that's just the way it is. But, we can fix those things. Our kid caught the ball and didn't tuck it away right away. He kind of dropped it down by his side and had it loose. And like I told you, I think last night, credit their kid, they're well coached. He's in trail position, and what you do in trail position when your guy catches the ball is you try to poke it out when you get near it. And that's exactly what he did. So, they made the play in that instance.
Speaking of David Floyd from Bradley, what did they do that you were most impressed with as a unit with the Bears last night?
Yeah, they're always big and physical up front. I think their tailback has rushed for 200 yards each of the last two games that they played against Hardin Valley and Walker Valley.
He's good after contact. He's good at bouncing and good after contact.
And good after contact. I think Coach told me in the pregame he's a 550-pound squat kid.
It's not surprising when you're watching up close. It's not surprising.
Yeah, big-legged kid. And so, we were worried about that, or we were concerned. We knew we had to stop the run, try to force him to throw the ball around a little bit. And I thought we did a good job. We didn't play that well in the secondary last week. And I thought we played much better, tighter coverage. That was part of the reason why we were able to have such success on third down, I think, and get seven of 8 stops or whatever. It's because we were able to stop the run and then cover them up when they passed it for the most part. And so, yeah, they just always do a good job. They're going to be multiple on defense out of a 3-down look. They're going to be tough, physical, play action. They've always got a big, huge tight end. I think their tight end, of course, they went to him very sparingly, but, he looks like he looks like a Division I player as far as, he's 6'5", 245 pounds. That's just who they are. They're going to hang their hat on the run game. They're going to run the quarterback a little bit, and they're going to play action pass.
And that was one of those things where, I thought their quarterback, number one, he made quick decisions, but y'all got after him. He was on the ground a lot. He's limping around later in the game. And I think your defensive line did a really good job in this game, forced him out of the pocket, making quick decisions. And your secondary was making good tackles in open field, when they were finding stuff with their bubble screens and things like that. But I do kind of wonder, because it was just kind of the Wildcat was in the red zone where the receiver, I think his name's Carroll, number 2, where he was out wide a lot, but then red zone, obviously 2 touchdowns early, and then the big one, the 75-yard. How hard is that for your guys to just watch? You got to use your eyes and really be careful, because obviously a busted play like that at 75 yards and changed the game. But he's very patient. That was something you look at. You're just he's a very patient. He's waiting for the hole, and then he's quick, right? If he finds that little crease, that's it, right?
Yeah. It's a good package for them. He's a good athlete. He's a good player. As you said, the patience more than anything too. And he's kind of back there, even though he plays receiver, he kind of sees things like a running back. And they put everybody up in there close and just direct snap it to him. And they've got a myriad of things that they do out of that. They've got a sweep. They've got a sweep and a reverse. They've got stuff that goes downhill right at you. Even last week they had a little play action, hit the tight end wide open for a touchdown. And so on the play that they popped on us for the 75-yard score or whatever it was where they were just kind of off tackle weak, away from where we were setting the strength, and they pulled some guys over there, and he found a little crease, a little seam on 4th and 1. And, once he broke through the line right there, we had one guy was trying to get there and get to that gap. But after that, he was able to run away from us. So, yeah, it's a good little package they have. But like I said, they went back to it in the red zone, and we were able to get a stop later on and hold them to a field goal. And so, as I said, I thought our defense, for the most part, played winning football.
Yeah.
Last night, better than 24 points given up. We got to play complementary football. I know it's cliche to say, but we got to play team football, complementary football. Our offense has got to, sustain drives, win field position, score points when they're in the red zone, create explosives, and not turn the ball over to help our defense out.
We'll end on this, Coach. You're rocking the Tennessee hoodie today. It's a big day.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Do you feel good about Tennessee's chances?
Well, to be honest, I don't really know. I've seen college football, but obviously I spend too much time breaking down my own team to break down college football. But obviously, what Georgia is the last, since Kirby's been there, they're kind of the class of the league and of college football. So they're going to be really talented, really well coached. I think Josh and his staff and team, I think he likes this team. I think he likes what they have. I think the biggest thing is Tennessee's probably got to start out fast early, just because I think confidence is a big thing. And the last couple of years they've kind of gotten down and the game's kind of gotten away from them in the second half. But I think Tennessee's got a shot. It's still young people. It's still, college athletics is, it's not that much different than high school athletics as far as the mental age and the makeup of the kids. It's going to be tough for a 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kid to go into Neyland Stadium. I'm sure the crowd's going to be fired up. I'm sure our team will feed off of that. And, hopefully it can affect Georgia a little bit.
I hope so, man. I feel pretty good. I was talking to a Georgia beat writer 2 days ago about it, and it was he said this is the most range of outcomes he can remember in the Kirby hype era that's possible in this game, where you could see a lot of different scenarios play out in this one.
Right. Yeah,
which is fun though.
Yeah, you ultimately what you want is a chance to go win a big football game on the national stage. College game day is going to be there. So that's exciting, and so it's just fun that we're back in these games again as Tennessee fans. Because we all know that we were not in these games for a lot longer period than we had wanted for a long time, and so just go out there and let it rip and have fun and hopefully come out with a win today.
I love it. Well, Coach, how did the good folks support everything Farragut Admiral football going into next week? I know you got Maryville on the docket next week with Coach Hutt and company, but what can the good folks do and support your program?
Yeah, Chase, thanks first for having me on. But yeah, we got a great website, farragutfootball.com. We're on all the social media platforms at Farragut Football. Feel free to reach out for anything. We're all and support all your high schools, programs. It doesn't just have to be us, but go support your local high school. Go to the games. If you're a fan of high school athletics and you can do so, go approach your coach and see what can I do financially or in donation, in kind, whatever, because we're raising these kids off of not very much budget from everything is fundraised, and so we're feeding kids multiple times a week. We're supplying them water and snacks and all those things that needed. So go watch games at the stadium on Friday night. If you can do so and you can donate snacks or whatever, all that is important in a high school program. And I just think, high school athletics is great for the community aspect of it. It should be and it is, it's an important time in a young person's life. It's where they create a lot of memories. And so we're in this profession to try to help facilitate, lifelong learning, but to create memories that these young people are going to have forever. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and says, man, I'd give anything to go back to my high school experience and just to relive those moments, whether it's high school football or whatever, one more time. So if you can do so, every athletic program, every football program, they could use your support.
I love it, Coach. Yeah, I really appreciate the time here on this Saturday morning, and just all your insight here today, and just covering your program. It's great, and I hope things continue in the right direction for you guys here the rest of the half. I can't believe the season's already almost half over. Like it's like
4 games down. Yep,
it's crazy. It just snap a finger. It's like you got to enjoy it. It's what when people are like, oh yeah, man, these Friday nights you're there and you blink and it's already the midpoint of the season. But I appreciate the time, Coach, and we'll have to check back in again soon.
Yep. Thank you, Chase. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach, we are good.
Thank you, buddy.
Awesome. Well, have fun today. I appreciate it, and we'll circle back again soon.
All right. Thanks, Chase.
Awesome. Thanks, Geoff.
Yep.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.